Hello and a warm welcome to Federal Special Program Capital Beat. Violent protests have erupted in Bangladesh after the death of a prominent youth leader of last year's student uprising that ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Sharif Osman Hadi, 32 years old, was shot last week in the capital, Dhaka, and he died of his injuries late on Thursday in the hospital in Singapore. Now, what has happened after that? Several buildings, including those housing leading newspapers, Pratham Olo and the Daily Star, they were set on fire, vandalized overnight. According to the authorities, Bangladesh's interim leader has announced a day of mourning on Saturday and is calling for calm. What we are also getting to know is that groups of people have been assembling at Shahbag in central Dhaka as the body of Hadi is expected to arrive in the capital this evening. Nadeem Havladar, 32, from Dhaka's airport area and an activist of a Bangladesh Nationalist Party affiliated volunteer organization, has spoken to the media organizations and said that Hadi had been brutally murdered to silence dissent. So, what we are trying to understand is that what is the latest situation in Bangladesh, because Bangladesh is also going to face elections soon. Can Yunus government really handle this crisis, or can the situation grow out of proportion? Joining me this evening is Sheikh Inan, who's a student leader, a prominent student leader from Bangladesh, Dhaka. He joins us. Thank you so much, Inan, for joining. We have Subir Bhaumik, senior journalist and political commentator. Thank you so much, Subir, for joining. And I'll begin with Sheikh Inan. Inan, what is the latest you are hearing? Has the situation really spiraled out of control in Bangladesh?
Thank you. Thank you so much for connecting me. Actually, the situation is very bad, very bad, very bad, and very bad. What happened last night is unprecedented. Prothom Alo is the largest circulated daily of Bangladesh, uh, and the Daily Star is the largest circulated English newspaper in Bangladesh. So it is unimaginable that both the news houses are totally burnt and all of their uh, the whatever was in the offices are looted by the terrorists, or you can call them fundamentalists, you can call them radicalists. I am not agree that Osman Hadi's killing is allowed. I totally disagree with any kind of murder, any kind of killings. That's fine, but does it validate anything for a killing? You mob to some places and loot the news agencies, the news or the office of the newspapers. It should not be allowed in any country of this world, and it is the duty, whether it is constitutional or unconstitutional, whether it is legal or illegal, as Mr. Yunus is the head of this government, he should have stopped these things. He didn't do anything last night. And you see, last night another thing happened in the Mymensingh district, Bhaluka sub district, probably a Hindu boy who was brutally killed by some terrorists. I would call them terrorists. They killed him in the name of religion. This cannot be allowed anywhere of this world. If he was guilty of doing anything, there was law enforcing agencies. They could have handed him over to the police. The police should ensure the justice. But who are they? How can they brutally beat a man till death and hang his body with a tree, and then the body was even burned? Is it imaginable in any of the civilized countries? No way. So what is happening in Bangladesh is totally a massacre, and if it is not stopped right now, means right now, then the Bangladesh is going to be a doomed country. Bangladesh is going to be a devastated country. Bangladesh is going to be a lost case. And we hope that all the people who wants Bangladesh dignity to stand up, they will stand against this kind of vandalism, this kind of mob culture, this kind of terrorism, and we will obviously protect our country against these kind of odds.
All right. So, okay, you be there. I'll come back to you, Inan, once again. But Subir, I'll come to you now. What is really happening? I'm also reading reports that there is anger against India because India is backing Sheikh Hasina. All sorts of stories are coming. Now, what was the trigger? Is the trigger the killing of Hadi, the student leader? I mean, who was contesting, who was going to contest for the elections? Or was there something deeper which was happening in the Bangladesh society and which apparently Yunus couldn't sense or couldn't gather?
It's absolutely wrong to imagine that Yunus could not sense it. Yunus has perfected a new technique of governance, and that is governing through chaos.
Okay.
And I'll tell you how. And this whole anti-India tirade, there is a pattern. Look, when Yunus's national security advisor Khalilur Rahman comes to Delhi, 2 days before, his so-called International Crimes Tribunal comes up with Hasina's death penalty. And then pressure mounted on India to repatriate her, to send her back, which India did not do, will not do, because this is the verdict of a kangaroo court. Can you believe what kind of a court is this? The former prime minister, not one defense witness was produced in the court. So you can understand the quality of justice. Without getting into details, let me say that immediately after this death penalty, an inquiry commission report, this commission was set up by the Yunus government to investigate 2009 BDR mutiny. BDR means Bangladesh Rifles, then the Border Guard Force. Now they are called BGB, Border Guard Bangladesh. And the inquiry report was submitted blaming India, that India has sent its special forces to kill officers of the BDR who were army officers. And this report was submitted by former Major General Fazlur Rahman, who, when he was the chief of BDR in 2001, instigated the border clashes with BSF. And every time there is a border clash or something like this with India, there is an anti-Indian frenzy, and that benefits the fundamentalists. That destroyed the poll prospects of Sheikh Hasina. She lost the election. Awami League lost the election in 2001 because of this anti-Indian sentiment that came out of that border clashes. And who was the head of BDR then? Fazlur Rahman. Same Fazlur Rahman is set up by Yunus to investigate the mutiny, which was a done and dusted case. Already trials have taken place. Several people had been punished for the killing of those officers. But this whole case was reopened, and this report was submitted without any real evidence. My point is, if Indian special forces can enter and kill Bangladesh army officers in their own headquarters, what is this border guard people doing? They should remove their uniforms. So, but this report was given. Again, this is a very planned way. After Sheikh Hasina death penalty, then this BDR report, and now Osman Hadi killing. Osman Hadi's killing, I am 200% certain, is an inside job. Because in last year's July-August agitation also, some of the agitators themselves killed one or two of their own people. And this was revealed by Brigadier General Shekhawat, who was an advisor, who was the first home advisor of Yunus when the interim government was set up. He said that the bullets which were used to kill these people like Abu Said are not used by Bangladesh security forces. Which means what? Somebody else brought these bullets in. These bullets are in the use of the Pakistan security forces, not Bangladesh, not India. 7.62. तो जनाब लोगों ने यहाँ सप्लाई किया और उनके चेलों ने उससे गोली मार दिया. The point is that these inside killings are done. This is part of what Yunus describes as meticulous design. If you recall, Yunus went to the Clinton Foundation program last year in US and said this was no spontaneous agitation. There was a meticulous design involved. And he called up one of his student advisors, Mahfouz Alam, and said he is the mastermind. When you use words like meticulous design and mastermind, it means that these are all planned. Now, this is a new meticulous design. What is this design all about? To bring Jamaat-e-Islami to power. Awami League has already been banned. They cannot contest election. BNP is in complete disarray. Their leader is on the deathbed, Begum Khaleda Zia. Khaleda Zia's son is yet to come back from London. He's been in self-imposed exile for 17 years. For the first time in the history of independent Bangladesh, Jamaat-e-Islami sees a golden chance that they can jockey into power. And they have a strong ally in Yunus. Now, why Yunus? Yunus and Jamaat, they're made for each other at the moment. हाँ, मतलब रिश्ता रहेगा, शादी नहीं होगा. Why? Because Yunus wants to be president. He wants to be president so that he can get immunity from prosecution for his several dozens of money laundering cases, embezzlement cases, labor violation cases. There are a lot. My friend Aminul Haq Palash has completely revealed it, former Bangladesh intelligence officer. Yunus is an open book now. He stole a project of the Chittagong University, the microcredit project, made it as his own, and got a Nobel Prize for it. He's a fraud. Now, Yunus needs Jamaat-e-Islami because Jamaat is the only major party which will agree to make him president. Why? BNP has its own candidate, Awami League has its own people. But Jamaat wants a face like Yunus to be president for global image management. Otherwise, Jamaat will be seen as a party of mullahs. And Yunus needs Jamaat for his domestic support base because he has no support base. He's not a politician. The party he tried to set up, National Citizens Party, is a disaster. It's falling apart. These guys won't even get 10 votes, 20 votes. Unka jamanat chala jayega. They will lose their security deposit. So
clear.
Yunus needs Jamaat, Jamaat needs Yunus, and Hadi's killing comes as a godsend which can be used to bring the fundamentalists, the radicals on the street in the rundown to the election. Inan will agree with me that in Bangladesh politics, Rajpath Dakhal is very important. Capturing the streets. Rajpath Dakhal. So now Jamaat wants Rajpath Dakhal and is using the Hadi killing. And today when his body comes back after Maghrib Namaz, around 6 p.m., you will see there will be more violence. And India is the favorite whipping boy. Because India ko marne se Awami League, you tag Awami League with India, they are agents of India, you can finish Awami League. So you whip up these anti-Indian feelings. And now BNP. What is BNP's desire? BNP wants to contest the election, and because Awami League is not in the contest, they want to take away Awami League's pro-liberation vote bank. To stop that, these mullahs of Jamaat, they need to whip up anti-Indian feelings so that more and more people are upset with India and they vote for Jamaat and against BNP, now that Awami League is not in the contest. This is the real game plan. So Yunus needs Jamaat, Jamaat needs Yunus, and both need chaos. They want to create chaos, terrorize everybody, impose a reign of terror in the rundown to the election, so that people out of fright and fear, out of fear of losing their life and limb, Yunus has already converted Bangladesh into a vendetta republic, and he will rule by chaos. This is, see, Mr. Yunus is touted as a very big economist. Right. He did not get Nobel Prize for economics like Amartya Sen got. He got Nobel Prize for peace. Now tell me, which part of the world has he been involved in peacemaking? Has he mediated a peace accord anywhere in the world? So this is just a hoax. He has his godfathers in American deep state. They built him up for the last several years, and he got a Nobel Prize for peace, where he has done no peacemaking anywhere in the world. And he did not get a Nobel Prize in economics. If he was a very big economist, he would have got Nobel Prize in economics like Amartya Sen or Abhishek Vinayak Banerjee. Yunus is a fraud. He's a Rahu dumped on the people of Bangladesh. He knows two things very well. One is networking. कौन से अंग्रेज का पैर कब पकड़ना है? Up in the West, he fits. So he knows networking very well and he knows his business very well. पैसा कैसे बनाना है और किस अंग्रेज को कब फिटिंग करना है? These things he knows very well. He's a fraud, and it's a misfortune of our friends in Bangladesh to suffer him. But this is his plan. He will use Jamaat to become president. Jamaat will use him for their global image management.
Subir, just hang in there. I want to go to Inan now and I'll come back to you. Inan, now what can we expect? Now the body of Hadi will arrive somewhere around 6 p.m. That's what Subir said. What can we expect? Are we expecting some more violence or will Yunus government be able to control? Because this is complete lawlessness on the streets just ahead of elections and it can really spiral into an unprecedented kind of a situation. So what are we expecting? How is Yunus going to tackle this?
You see, the NCP, National Citizen Party, which is called a party backed by Muhammad Yunus and the present government, uh, they are accusing Bangladesh Awami League and its activists in the killing of Hadi, but we totally deny that. Bangladesh Awami League and we never believe in any kind of killing or in any kind of such violent activity. Hadi was actually killed by these meticulous designers, which was mentioned by Mr. Shobir Bhumik earlier, that Dr. Yunus, who in many occasions have said that this was a meticulously designed plan and he introduced some as mastermind, so we can understand how deep this planning was. And now, as a very important phase of this plan, they have planted this drama of killing Hadi, and by using his body they will create more violence, as we think. We want justice, proper justice for the killing of Hadi. Whoever is the killer, bring him to justice. You are in the power, you are ruling the country, you are doing the mobocracy, then why cannot you bring justice to the killers of Hadi? You arrest them and punish them. Why a newspaper office will be burned for a killing? Is there any way, any connection with this killing? প্রথম আলো, Daily Star, what is the connectivity with Hadi killing? Can anyone explain it? No way. And they have burned the house of the former education minister of Bangladesh, Mr. Mohibul Hassan Chowdhury Nofel. His father was a great patriot. His father was a freedom fighter for Bangladesh, though he is no more now. He was a very famous leader from Chittagong, Mr. Mohiuddin Chowdhury. His house was burned and looted. What is the connection of Hadi's killing with Mr. Mohibul Hassan's house burning? No connection. Then why they are doing so? In the Uttara, a very renowned area in Dhaka city, Uttara area, it's a very huge area. It is near the Dhaka International Airport. In the Uttara area, they looted at least 30 institutes yesterday. Why? What is the reason? Hadi was shot by someone. He died, according to the government, in Singapore. His body is going to be brought back today. Okay, fine. But what is the connection with this mobocracy? Why are they burning the country? What is the reason? What is their motive? The only motive is to destabilize the country. They want to show the world that the law and order situation is not in control. If the election is free and fair in Bangladesh and our League is allowed to participate in the election and it with his allies, then no, in the present context, no one can beat our League. I can challenge any of the with any of the world.
Right.
So the Yunus, the Jamaat, the fundamentalists, the radicalists, in all the terrorists, do not want to stabilize the country. If this chaos goes on, they will remain in power. If the chaos is stopped, they will no way stay in the
Yeah, so
power.
that's what
Mr.
yeah, so that's
Yunus,
what Subir said. That's what Subir said in the beginning, that he is a master at governance in chaos. Now, Subir, so how would we really assess this situation now? it seems to be done purely with an eye on the elections so that he can continue. And so, are there chances that the elections could get postponed, or there are no chances of elections getting postponed? If the situation still remains on the boil and it remains violent like this, do you think that the elections can happen in this kind of a situation?
Well, let me tell you something, Neelu, quite clearly. Yunus has brilliantly played himself into a win-win situation, and this is how it unfolds.
Okay.
Now he has got this Jamaat and these other Islamist radicals to unleash violence so that all the opposition can be terrorized. Now, look at this. If this situation spins out of control, which it can, Yunus will postpone the election. He will say, law and order is so bad, election can't be held, which means he stays in power. If the elections are held in this atmosphere of terror, Jamaat will start with a huge advantage. And assuming that Jamaat comes to power, they will make him the president. So either way, if there are elections in this climate of terror and Jamaat comes to power, Yunus becomes president, which is his lifetime ambition, to be the head of the state of Bangladesh. If the elections are postponed because things spin out of control, then also he remains in power. Either way, he remains in power. So Yunus has played himself, the meticulous designer that he is. You know, American, I don't know where he did his PhD from, some university called Middle Tennessee. I wonder whether it was a degree in economics, a PhD in economics, or a PhD in design, maybe PhD in design. He has brilliantly played himself into a situation that either way, it's a win-win for him. If things spin out of control, then he remains in power as the chief advisor. Interim. Neelu, you have to understand that this interim government is an illegal entity because there is no provision for interim government in Bangladesh constitution. May I remind you that when Yunus took power, it swore his oath on the constitution, not on Quran Sharif, okay? So he swore by this constitution, but this constitution has no provision for interim government. The elections that are going to be held along with a referendum. There is no provision for a referendum also in the Bangladesh constitution. So much for the legality of this constitution. This election is totally illegal. Secondly, you know, people talk of inclusive election. The Americans, the Westerners, they were shedding crocodile tears. Sheikh Hasina is not holding proper election. This fellow is holding an illegal election and may not even hold an election.
Yeah.
Now nothing happens to the Western people who have been shedding crocodile tears, filling up ponds and whatever. The most important thing is you're talking of inclusive election. Can there be inclusive election in Bangladesh without Awami League? Awami League has not only led the fight for freedom, they have ruled Bangladesh for half the time of its post-independence history. Can you have elections in India, fair elections, inclusive elections, without Congress? Maybe Congress has lost the election. That means, but does that mean you will ban the Congress? Awami League is like Congress. Led the party freedom struggle and all that. Today they are in opposition, but does that mean that you will tell Mr. Rahul Gandhi you cannot contest elections? Is that democracy? How is the West going to explain all this? They have been shedding crocodile tears for lack of democracy in Bangladesh. Today there is no democracy. There is no question of lack of democracy. There is no democracy. अभी अंग्रेज लोग का कुछ नहीं होता है. अभी धंधा करने के लिए वहां चले जाएंगे. They will go there and do business. कहाँ? Where is monazite sand? Where Saint Martin's Island can be taken over? So you know what? These people who have shed crocodile tears for democracy all these years, please, we need to ask them, confront them, that your chela, your chamcha, Mr. Yunus, whom you have got a Nobel Prize and built up his persona, a fraud, absolute fraud. You have to ask these people in the West, these Gorajis, कि अभी बांग्लादेश में क्या हो रहा है? What is happening? What kind of election? But Yunus has played himself into a situation where he will rule through chaos, he will rule through vendetta, you know, thousands of people in jail, fake cases. I mean, can you believe it? My sister Tarana Halim, She used to be a famous actress, Inan will know, then a minister. She can't kill a fly, I bet. She will call her maid servant. But she has been accused of murdering somebody, with what? Not a dagger, not a pistol, but the mount on an official car on which the official flags are there, in front of the car, Mantri ji ka car mein. The flag rehta hai na, that mount has been taken out by my sister and she has stabbed somebody with it. What rubbish! They can't even make up a story. Now these are the murder charges, and Inan must be having,
Right.
220 murder charges against him or more.
All
So
right.
it's a joke.
Right.
Governance is a joke in Bangladesh. The West needs to explain because they were
What
the
we
people involved in regime change.
what we can make out is that the situation is really volatile at this point of time. And before I wind up the show, I'll quickly take one concluding comment from Sheikh. What would you really like to say to the situation which is now evolving?
I would like to address the international community. I would like to address the human rights organization, and I would also like to address and draw attention of our neighboring country, the best friend of Bangladesh, Indian government, that this is high time the international community should put pressure on the army of Bangladesh and control the situation. Otherwise, it will be a lost case. A lost case in a sense that it will be a country like Afghanistan, Pakistan, Syria, Iraq, or Congo.
All right.
So it should not be. And the situation, what you can see, the yesterday or the day before that, the parliamentary committee of Ministry of External Affairs of India also submitted a report. I have come to know from the newspaper that they say about the situation in Bangladesh. So it is very alarming for our best friend India. They should also look into it and take proper actions. And I hope the people of Bangladesh will always behave
Right.
friendly with
All right.
India.
I think
Those
Shubir was
who
raising his hand. Shubir was raising his hand very briefly. Very briefly. I'm really running short of time. So, what would you say?
As an Indian, I will say that we need to worry enormously about the trouble in our eastern border. And as a Bengali, I will say Bangladesh must remain Bangladesh, not become Bengali Pakistan. End of the story.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so we'll have to wait and watch how things unfold. And yes, Hadi's body would arrive somewhere around 6 or 6:30, or that's what we are told. And what Subir has said, that we can expect some more violence. So we'll have to keep our eyes very, very closely rooted to what's happening in Dhaka and Bangladesh. Thank you so much. I'll have to end it here. Thank you so much, Inan, for joining. You please take care. You're in Bangladesh. Shubir, thank you very much for joining. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.